I had the fortunate opportunity to travel to Japan for 2 weeks with my now fiance. From traditional temples, delicious food, kind people, and of course, anime and manga collectibles, which was my personal paradise. Not to say the others weren't spectacular as well. So let's go over all the things that I purchased and figure out whether I took advantage of the yen or the yen took advantage of me. First off is black sesame salt and custard pudding. I've only recently come across this manga and it has immediately become one of my all-time favourites. I got all 3 volumes for around 1,000 yen. I believe I got this in a book off in Shibuya, which is a second-hand bookstore. And shout out to the staff who helped me find this, as I wasn't particularly familiar with the organisation layout of Japanese bookstores. I felt like I could spend hours in this bookstore just browsing all the different manga that I wasn't aware of. Next up is a pretty degenerate one, and that is Ureshon. Now hear me out. My fiance and I had the goal of picking up something very degenerate while we were in Japan. And this pretty much ticks that box. For a total of 2,500 yen, I picked up the first 4 volumes in a shop called Comics Inn in Akihabara. This quickly became my favourite place to pick up degenerate manga. It's a small shop on Electric City and it mainly has ongoing and ecchi series, but I just loved popping my head in there whenever I got the chance. When purchasing Ureshon, I also got this little art card as a gift from the cashier. I'm not too sure which manga it's from, but if anyone knows, do let me know in the comments. The final manga I got was Gushing Over Magical Girls, volumes 1 to 11. For a total of 7,980 yen. I watched the series out of curiosity and I have been hooked since the first frame. And even though I've only watched the anime, because I loved the series so much, I just had to collect every memorabilia I could possibly find. I also picked this up in Comics Inn's Akihabara. I was planning on getting 3 volumes, but much like Magia Breja, I succumbed to my greed and I just had to buy the remaining 8 volumes. Funnily enough, this series was double wrapped in plastic, but Ureshon wasn't. Each volume came with a gorgeous art card of different characters, and not to mention surprise stickers in each of the volumes. Here are the art cards in volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. It wouldn't be Japan if it didn't have Blindboxes and gacha. My first set of Blindboxes were Mofu-san figures. I wasn't planning on grabbing these, but oh my goodness were they so cute on the shelf, they just had to come home with me. I got 2 from Mega Don Quixote in Shibuya for 300 yen, and then I got 6 in Kiddieland in Ikebukuro for 330 yen each, and I managed to grab this one little fella from a gachapon in Kamakura for 300 yen. Amongst all these, I thankfully only got a single duplicate, so that's going to be a random gift for someone. To further fuel my love of Gushing Over Magical Girls, I also found these keychains in Don Quixote in Akihabara. I mean, I bought loads. I think I bought 13 in total for 550 yen. That's like £2.50, so I just scooped up the shelf. Thankfully, I only got 3 duplicates and I was able to grab my favourite characters of Magia Breja, Magia Azul, and of course, Sister Gigant. And it wouldn't be a blind box collection if I didn't mention Smiskis. In the Kinokuniya Shinjuku main store, a Smiski was 1,100 yen, about £5, and a Hippa was 1,200 yen, or about £6. So as these were halved, you know I went ham on these. I grabbed Smiskis from the museum, dressing, work, moving, and Hippa collection. Between my fiance and I, we kind of just sort of lost track of how many we bought, but now we just have random Smiskis hidden throughout little nooks and crannies of our house, and it's spectacular. Though it is definitely ominous seeing so many glow-in-the-dark creatures whenever I turn the lights off. To cap off my Gushing Over Magical Girls collection, I of course bought the Magia Breja large pop-up parade figure by Good Smile Company. She is just gorgeous. I picked her up from Ami in Akihabara for 7,210 yen. I also found the same figure in A-Stop and Radio Kaikan, but Ami had her for the cheapest price. I love the amount of detail that went into this figure. From the sparkles in her eyes to the fragility of her wings, this figure is just gorgeous. And seeing as there's going to be a transformation figure coming out soon, I just have to get my hands on that too. Moving away from gushing over magical girls, I'd like to introduce you to the Nanachi section of the video. The first figure I bought was Nanachi in her blue armor. I grabbed this from the Trader 2 in Akihabara for 1,200 yen. That is £6, which is insane. This was by far my favorite moment in the anime. She was just so cool in this moment. In regards to which Trader 2 it was, this was the multi-story Trader 2, rather than the single floor store found on the back streets of Akihabara. And this figure has such incredible detail, and it's surprisingly heavy to hold. My next Nanachi figure I found for 2,500 yen in Radio Kaikan in Akihabara. Made by the figure brand called Taito, it features Miti, Reg's helmet, and supposedly Riko's glasses. However, when I opened the box, I couldn't find Riko's glasses anywhere, so I think I'm just going to pretend like they weren't there to begin with, and it's still just as adorable. Last but definitely not least was this 2,800 yen swimsuit Nanachi from A-Stop in Akihabara. She's wearing a swimsuit and not a bikini, so I promise it's not weird. It's cute, I promise. Funny enough, this was the same shop that Trash Taste went to in their figure special, and this was the only figure not to come in a box. When purchasing this, the cashier was sad to see this figure go, as she mentioned that this was her favourite Nanachi figure within the Nanachi cube. I just find it super adorable how it's in 3 little pieces, so you can sort of angle her however you want depending on what shelf you put her on. She's so cute. My first piece of apparel is a Harry Potter Ministry of Magic necklace. You may be thinking, Bunko, are you not surrounded by Harry Potter shops 24/7? And yes, I am. But the shop I purchased this from had Harry Potter merchandise that I have seen nowhere else in any of the shops I've ever popped my head into in London. If you're a Harry Potter fan, go to Akasaka. This station is far more Harry Potter themed than King's Cross Station, which is the Harry Potter station. Next to the store is also 2 Harry Potter themed cafes. And did I mention the store had a really cute stamp that you could collect? Now time for my Punyas collection. I first became fascinated with this brand after seeing Joey the Anime Man showcase the lemon sweater on the Trash Taste podcast. Once I realised that this brand accommodated to larger sizes, it became a must visit for my trip. Each of the jumpers I bought were 5,500 yen, and I got the Ramune one, the lemon one, and the Hellscape one. But speaking of the Hellscape one, I also got matching joggers, because, being British, I have to have a matching tracksuit. And that wasn't the end of my Punyas haul. I also grabbed this long frilled black skirt for 6,600 yen. It's not really my style, but when I put it on, oh do I feel like a girly girl. I love this skirt. It's so cute. Plus, it has pockets. It's so difficult to find decently made skirts with pockets. And they're big pockets too. I could fit like a whole mug in there if I wanted to. If you're thinking about visiting the shop, I would highly recommend the Shibuya store over the Harajuku store. Overall, I found it more friendly, plus there's more changing rooms in the Shibuya store. The last piece of clothing items that I purchased was the Nintendo Museum t-shirt. It was 5,000 yen, which is a little bit pricey, but it was exclusive to the Nintendo Museum. I'm not a massive Nintendo fan, but I thought if I was going to pick up something, I might as well pick up a t-shirt. But this wasn't the only thing that I purchased from the Nintendo Museum. The other thing was a historical trinket. I got the Nintendo Red Flower Hanafuda playing cards. Before Nintendo was known for their coloured dungarees and sword-wielding protagonists, they sold playing cards. They're a lot smaller than the usual deck of cards, and as a game development history buff, I knew I just had to have this in my collection somewhere. I can't come to terms with opening the box, so I think it would just be a little historical piece on my shelf. My next trinket was a custom stamp, specifically for Mochi, my cat. And what kind of cat mum would I be if I didn't return with something Mochi themed? In total, I got this for 3,800 yen in a shop called Shinmonogurui, found in an old-fashioned cat-themed street called Yanaka Ginza, which I would highly recommend going. It is so cute. There are cafes, mini shops, decorative stamps. It's gorgeous. Within the shop, they had a large range of stamp designs to choose from, with the choice of either having Japanese or English lettering on them. I decided on Japanese just because it was a little bit more memorable for the trip. Next is this Osaka Funny Fella plushie, but also known as the Japan Expo mascot. And unfortunately, I was unable to attend the event as it starts in April, but he is strangely adorable and I thought he just had to come with me home. And also, check it out, we have matching outfits! Fingers crossed on my next visit I can either attend this or Komita, a doujin convention I literally missed by a day. During my visits at Yokohama for the Cup Noodle Museum, I also encountered a JoJo world. Of course, I had to pop my head in just to see if they had anything Jonathan Joestar themed. So while I was there, I picked up a Jonathan Joestar keychain for 1,800 yen and a mystery sticker pack, which thankfully had Jonathan Joestar and Star Platinum in it for 500 yen. I did have the Star Platinum one, but my partner took that as Star Platinum is one of his favourite stands. I've mentioned Trash Chase quite a lot in this video and in previous videos, which also means that I'm quite the fan of Abroad in Japan. And being so, of course I had to visit the Lost Bar. I didn't stay for a drink, however I definitely wanted to check out the Gachapon store, and I managed to grab this little bottle opener for 500 yen. I was hoping for a sticker, but any Lost merch I would have been happy with. Now, what kind of degenerate would I be if I didn't pick up a single tanga while I was there? Remember when I mentioned my fiance and I wanted to pick up degenerate things? Well, of course this had to be part of the list. I picked this up in none other than Don Quixote in Akihabara, the exact same purchase as all my Gushing Over Magical Girls keychains. And for 750 yen, how could I not? And speaking of keychains, I also purchased a couple of keychains from the B-side label. The first one being Shenron from Dragon Ball. I found this in Loft in Shibuya. I feel like with this cute chibi style, it stands out from any other Shenron keychain I've ever found before. And my second B-side keychain was Snorlax, specifically found in the Pokemon Center in Kyoto. Of all the 1,000 plus Pokemon, Snorlax is definitely my favourite next to Buzzwole. And even though I don't scream and shout about Pokemon, I definitely have a soft spot for Snorlax. One day I will own that giant beanbag. And that is my Japan haul. With the price of everything, it's fair to say I definitely took advantage of the yen while I was out there. Maybe not the clothing, but definitely the figures. Thanks for watching this episode. I know it's different to my usual video, but I had a lot of fun making it, and I didn't vlog Japan because I wanted to experience it in the moment, so I thought a Japan haul is definitely second best. Thanks again. Okay, ciao!